Stan White, founder of the Creating Calm Network, and you may wonder why I would use the theme of the Mad Hatter and the theme of we are all mad here. One of the reasons I do is because, we have to have a little fun in this world, and I wish this hat fit me better. Wouldn't that be a great Mad Hatter hat? Guess my head's too big. That happens. Ego is a terrible thing. But I think in having fun, this is one of my favorite ones. Life is serious. It really is. And if we don't allow ourselves time to have fun, to laugh at ourselves, to laugh at the world around us, we could go quite mad indeed. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about today, is how we survive in this madcap and crazy world of ours. It's coming, I feel it. There it goes. So let's talk about that, because really the world is mad. Do you ever feel like the emperor's new clothes? Like you are the only one who sees some of the craziness around you? Well, I do sometimes. And then I think, well, what the heck can I do? I'm only one person. Well, one of the things that I can do is I can take care of myself. I can try to soothe my very own soul. And in doing that, it's part of creating an inner sanctuary. So I think one of the things we need to look at is what makes us nuts. What makes us so our teeth are clenched, so we feel like we're going to scream, so that we get crabby with other people we meet? Look in your life and see when you feel that kind of tension happening in your life. I'll share with you some of the things that happen in mine that make me feel like that. Noise is a big one. I love quiet. I love the sounds of nature, but sometimes there'll be a yard person outside doing leaf blowing and all sorts of equipment, or there'll be a construction site. The noise will be incredible. Or sometimes I'll walk into a restaurant, and it might be a beautiful restaurant, but they're playing noise. And I'm pretty okay with music. I like a lot of different kind of music, most music, but sometimes it is just noise. And when you'd like to talk to your person that you're with, and all you can hear around you is noise, nothing more. So that starts getting me a little bit crabby. Meanness, bullies, and bullies are not just on the playground. Bullies are in the workforce, and bullies are in government. No kidding, right? So bullies bring up that tension level for me. News. If one were to watch the news, oh gosh, especially before you go to bed, you are bombarded. You are bombarded by negativity. So I always tell people, choose your news. I don't mean be idiots. I don't mean put our head in the sand, or just take and say, I don't care what's going on at all. But choose your news. What are you interested in? Find it on, we live in an age of information everywhere. Go on the internet and follow the things that you're interested in. I think there was something in my hat that just went in my eye. But that's okay, I'll carry on. So if we were to listen to news day in and day out, it would make us crazy. Tragedy around us, breakups, the death of a loved one, losing our job, losing a friend, losing something that we like, maybe a piece of jewelry, we've misplaced it. From the worst to tiny, they still build up, and they still can cause us tension, internal madness, craziness. Think of other things that could happen in your world. I work in a trauma unit. I'm a trauma chaplain by night, and I deal with compassion fatigue and secondary post-traumatic stress. So all of these could be kind of a chaotic madness, and much of them we don't have control over. Certainly we can leave the restaurant when it's noisy. Certainly we can turn off the television when the news is just bad. But there's still life that goes around us that just is crazy. It's madness, sheer madness. So how do we create that inner sanctuary, that port in the storm, that place where we can go to have peace, where we can retreat? When you are not driving or doing brain surgery or anything that requires your attention, walking down the street, when you need to pay attention, don't do this. That's my legal background talking. But one of the ways I can find peace very easily is by closing my eyes. As simple as closing my eyes, I can retreat into that inner sanctuary that I've built. Now, if you have a lot of inner craziness, you're going to have to do some work before this will work for you. But that being said, remember the power. When we were kids, you can't find me. Or I had a dog named Ruby. She was a dog de Bordeaux, a French Mastiff, and 136 pounds of Ruby. And she would hide by putting her head under the bed. Well, that was maybe 30 pounds of her, but we still had the other 106 hanging out. But when we can't see our foes or the craziness, the madness around us, there is a certain amount of peace. So if you're at an airport and the noise has gotten crazy, if you're at a doctor's office and the news is blaring and people are talking, try just closing your eyes and bringing yourself inward, doing some cleansing breaths, and just know that you are safe and you are okay. I had a flight that some of you might have heard me share in this same kind of a topic, where I was pass riding. I was the last person on the plane just before the doors closed. I was happy to get that flight, happy because it was, you know, other than that, I was going to be stranded. And the seat was a center seat. And when I got back there, I saw why that seat was available. The man on the aisle stood up, and he was one of the hugest people I've ever seen. And it truly was the kind where he should have purchased 2 seats. He didn't. So as I sit down and he sits down, part of his body comes to the mid-center of my chest. So he has got his body part on my left breast, which to me I kind of considered a private part. You know, just it's me, it's mine. I don't want your body on it, and you're sweating on it. So he sits down, he's on my left breast with his back, and the plane starts to take off. And as we're inclining, the weight of his body, it was pressing on my heart. I thought, I'm just gonna like die here. He's gonna like explode my heart with this great weight on it. Well, it didn't. We evened out. But for the whole flight, I had his sweaty body on my chest. I couldn't put down my tray table because his leg was sort of hanging over my leg. And what I did, it was a 2.5-hour flight. It was beautiful. I just closed my eyes and I just went to this special place, and I just was in there. And I just meditated, I did deep breathing, and pretty soon we landed. And half of me was stinky and wet, but it wasn't a bad experience. It was something that I needed to do, and I was able to go to my inner sanctuary and just be. I couldn't, when I was there, I couldn't feel the weight, I couldn't feel the sweat. So to me, that's pretty darn extreme. So if I could have done that in that circumstance, I can assure you it works real well when you're sitting by yourself in a doctor's office. Another thing to think about, think of the things that soothe you. Are there smells that soothe you? For me, one of the smells that just makes me feel comfortable is the smell of coffee. Of course, I'm a Coffee Jones. In fact, I might even take a sip of my coffee right now in my Wonder Woman cup. Barrister's Blend. But the smell of coffee, like I'm leaving my shift at midnight, you know, it might have been a hard shift, I'm kind of tired, I'm walking down the hall, and the midnight crew's getting themselves ready to start their shift, and they have coffee on. And the smell, I think, oh, it just kind of picks me up. The smell of pre-rain, just before it rains, that earthy kind of, I guess earthy is the best word for that smell. I like that. the pine forest, reminds me of when I was a little girl and would go to my maiden aunt's cabin way out in the forest, and I was the most special person in that cabin. She just doted on me. So those were very special times. So when I smell pine, I go back there. How about lavender? Lavender's a good one. So in soothing yourself, think, is there a smell that can help you find your center, your calm, when things get too crazy? You know, some people carry a little diffuser of the smell that does that for them. Me, since it's coffee, it's always around. And that's probably why I have to practice all these calming techniques. Since I drink so much coffee, I need to settle myself down. Pets can oftentimes be soothing, or not. I live with 3 rescue dogs, so sometimes it's ruckus and chaotic, and if I just need to play and belly laugh, I can get on the floor with them and we can just have a great old time. Or there are times you come home and the dog ate the couch, or threw up, or had explosive diarrhea. Not so soothing. But there are also times when dogs can sense, or pets, cats, I don't want to be discriminatory, can sense your mood. And there's nothing better than maybe laying down and having your furry dog or cat just heartbeat to heartbeat, breath to breath, that comfort that you share. Sometimes it's with a small child that works, maybe with your beloved, maybe a nice spoon where you can just feel the heartbeats in tandem with each other. That is oftentimes very soothing. Cool water, miraculously, cool water can be a soothing sensation to our inner sanctuary. And I don't know why that is, but I tell you that it's true. As a trauma chaplain, when somebody is in the midst of a devastating situation and they're crying in tears, if I can get them to take a few sips of cool water, it just brings them a little more balanced. You still need to grieve it, you still need to mourn it, but it adds a little bit of centering to the experience. So if you ever have one of those times where you just feel stressed or sad or in the middle of a great big cry, sip a little water, and that hydration, that coolness will work with your heart energy, and I think you'll see what I mean. Nature, stepping out into nature, always, unless there's a funnel cloud coming your way and you need to tap your ruby red shoes together. I mean, that's not going to be a good experience, or in the middle of a hurricane as your roof is blowing away, or a flood zone. But typically, grant me this, typically nature, the earth, the wind, the smells, all of that, even if it's a gentle rain, are very soothing to our body, the natural rhythms. So if we step outside and pick up the natural rhythms, we can soothe ourselves. Sometimes, and studies have shown this, so I'm not making this up, but in hospitals they'll put nature scenes above the bed so people can look at nature while they're lying down. If you're at a place where you're at an office and you don't see nature, put up a screensaver of a natural scene, and periodically just hit your screensaver and breathe it in and be in that scene, and you'll find some calm coming into your body. So these are some of the techniques, some of the tips that I would like to share with you on beginning to think about creating calm within your body, creating a sense of soothing your soul. I'm going to turn the bus a little bit because I think I'm going to talk about spirit while we're at it. Might as well. Spirit, whether we call it God, a higher power, power greater than ourselves. I like the word energy. I think energy works. Universal love. But there is a flow of this divine energy. And when we can connect to this flow, again, we bring that inner calm, that centering to our body. When we disconnect from that flow, we start feeling that crabby, we start feeling diseased, we're out of sort, things we try don't work, we hit road bumps, speed bumps, brick walls. then we know, hey, I'm a little disconnected. Get back into the flow, and you will watch things begin to unfold, things begin to take a beautiful course, doors open when they should. So keeping ourselves in that flow, whether you call it a God flow, a flow of divinity, a sacred flow, energy, but it's a flow of greater goodness that when we can connect to, you're riding the wave. It's just beautiful. So the more that we can do that, the more beautiful it is. So I'm asking you to think about times when you're smooth sailing, if that isn't something that works well for you. Now, you can't stay there all the time because we're human, and I guess maybe because we're denser. So, we get disconnected. But some people ask, how do you connect to that flow? I wrote a book called Living with Spirit Energy, and in that book I shared my beginnings, my working with spirit, and there were ways when I would practice connecting to the flow. And even now, if I get disconnected and have to go back through and reconnect, there are 5 steps that I take. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 of them. I made an acronym, and when I was doing my book, I was trying to think, what would this be? And I'm thinking of all these weird things like acorn and everything, and all of a sudden, I get this spirit download, and I can hear my spirit team guides laughing. The blondie finally got it. It's called Spirit. Spirit. How does that work? The S. Stop. Stop. Be still. Just stop the craziness and be still and breathe. P. Protect yourself, because anytime we open ourselves up, it is good to do protection. Actually, anytime we step out into the world, anytime we wake up. So, where did that come from? Anytime we wake up, it is good to protect ourselves. So one of the ways to do that is I do a prayer where I wrap myself in the divine light that only good can penetrate my aura. So I'm protected. I invite. Spirit likes to be invited. They're all around us everywhere, but it's always good to say, I'd like to welcome you in so we can work together. I need your help. R. Request. What do you need? Request, I'm working on this. Can you help me find a way to navigate this? So let Spirit know what you would like. You don't always get it, but at least they know what you like, and they're going to direct you, and you might even get something better for your greater good. You don't need to know the how. Spirit does the how. As humans, we want to know the how, but how is not for us. Spirit takes care of the how. We take care of the envisioning and manifesting and setting our dreams, and then Spirit will take over. The next I is initiate. Don't sit on your butt. You've got to do something. Move in the direction of your dream. Move in the direction of connecting to Spirit, and they'll get you there. It's easier to move a moving object than a stalled one. You know that from pushing a car. Once you put it neutral and get it moving, it'll go better. And then finally, T is trust that it'll happen and thank Spirit. Spirit likes to be thanked. So Spirit, Spirit, is one of the ways that if you get disconnected and want to reconnect, if you go through that process of being still and protecting yourself, requesting, initiating, thanking, and tucking right back in, it'll be good. You'll feel it. Sometimes you just have to breathe it in. So that is my chat with you today in this mad and crazy world. This is Ann White. I am the founder, actually. I get to do all the work. But what it means is we have great hosts. So with the Creating Calm Network, and again, you'll see this. No, I'm giving you a little slideshow here. I'm just playing around. But when you see this, go ahead. We're looking for some new hosts. We're looking for inspirational people, people who are heartfelt, people who love. And so give me a shout out, and maybe I'd like to get your message on the Creating Calm Network. You can reach me at creatingcalmwithinchaos.com. Let us hear from you. You can always find us on our new webpage, which should be live one of these days. The earth will still spin, the sun will still rise, and the webpage will be live one of these days. And it's www.creatingcalmnetwork.com. All of our hosts that you're going to see here on television have radio shows. So this talk, more or less, was what I did on Monday Morning Coffee. And it was Monday Morning Coffee on July 8th. So if you'd like to hear this on your iPad and iTunes, you can go ahead and pull Monday Morning Coffee July 8th and get this same talk. So whether you like to listen to things, you can listen to us on the radio. If you're more visual, many of us are going to try to come over here and just bring a smile to you. So it's been wonderful being with you, and I'll see you next week in Creating Calm with the Mad Hatter. Enjoy your week, enjoy your life, find calm within the chaos, because it's all good. Truly it is. Shalom. You know, if you were still watching, they're not letting me go off the air until I fill out a form. So I'm just going to take off my hat and fill out the form. They'd like to know what kind of tag. So maybe Ann White is a tag. What do you think? Creating Calm? Spirit Guides? Give me another hint. What else should we do? Let's see. I think that's enough. I don't think people would look for Inner Sanctuary, do you? No. Okay, we can save that now. Oh, look, I've got messed up hair. Now you can see me just grooming and preening, and maybe now I can stop broadcasting.